Hey there, this is Dr. Evan Osar with the Institute for Integrative Health and Fitness Education. Welcome to this edition of Integrative Movement Insider, and this is part 2 of a 3-part series on the shoulder complex, and more specifically, the rotator cuff. If you missed part 1, check that out because this information will develop directly upon the information I shared with you in video number 1 of this 3-part series. And this is in conjunction with the brand new release of our product, Complete Shoulder Conditioning 2.0, where we cover the fundamentals, the assessment, corrective exercise strategies, and how to integrate the shoulder complex with the head and neck and upper thorax in training the shoulder complex, especially in those clients and those individuals that you work with chronic neck tension and or discomfort. And I apologize for the lighting and sound in here. I'm just trying to shoot this video real quick before Janice and I head off to teach, of all things, on the shoulder complex. Now, a very simple and easy strategy around the rotator cuff. So we discussed the rotator cuff muscles and the function of the rotator cuff muscles in part 1. And basically, their job is to stabilize the ball on the socket or the humeral head upon the glenoid fossa. Now, what happens for a lot of our clients, and this is exactly what contributed to my rotator cuff tears and ultimately labral tears in both my shoulders, is I was taught to strengthen my weak external rotators because everybody looks like this, so we were taught to externally rotate and strengthen those external rotators. So therefore, we would use a band like this and do a lot of external rotation work and really work on scapular retraction and depression. And what happened for me, and this is what happens to so many of the patients and clients we see in our clinic, is they overdevelop their retractors and depressors as well as those external rotators. So you want to have an assessment and make sure you assess your clients to see, do they really need more external rotation work? So here's a very simple, easy assessment. We would do this lying down, but you can also do it upright to see how the shoulder complex relates to the head and neck and thorax. So simply have your clients just go like this. So this is 0 degrees, okay? So elbow and shoulder are in line with each other. And just have them simply go into external rotation. So they should have about 90 degrees and be pretty symmetrical side to side unless they've been a throwing athlete in their life. So from the side, here, external rotation, about 90 degrees, and you see I have quite a bit more than 90 degrees. Now you're gonna check internal rotation. So again, keep that elbow and shoulder in line. Now rotate down. Don't let the shoulder drop, don't let the elbow or shoulder drop down this direction or come back behind. Because what clients will do to compensate for the lack of internal rotation is they'll go from here and they'll start to shove that shoulder forward. That's not internal rotation, that's anterior tilting of the scapula. And that's why it's very important to evaluate external rotation versus internal. And not just look at this posture and say, oh, they must be weak back here and too strong and tight here. Because like me, I developed way too much external rotation, way too much strength in those external rotators of my shoulders, and way too little range of motion in internal rotation. And the most common cause, or one of the most common causes of the forward shoulder is not weak retractors and depressors of the scapula and or external rotators. It's loss of internal rotation. The inability to get your shoulder to go this direction without compensating and bringing that shoulder forward. So one of the most important strategies is to first teach stability of the scapula and shoulder complex on top of the thorax and in relationship to the neck, and then teach your clients how to dissociate or move that shoulder independent of their scapula. And that's another reason why we don't have our clients, if they've been told to do rotator cuff exercises, jam their shoulders into the side and then do external rotation. Kind of like this. They jam their shoulders into the side and then they do external rotation work or retraction work with external rotation like this. Because it doesn't teach them how to properly dissociate or move that humerus, the ball on the socket. What they're really doing is they're just creating scapular motion this way. And it's not teaching them how to stabilize the scapula, which is the primary function of your scapular stabilizers, and also to move the shoulder independent of the glenoid fossa. So with rotator cuff exercises, what we use them for is to teach dissociation, and we use very, very, very light resistance because we want to teach our clients how to develop alignment and control of the shoulder blade or the scapula on the thorax, and then how to move the arm independent of that motion. So they understand how to spin that humeral head or the ball on the socket without creating compensatory motion of the scapula itself. So here's what it looks like. I'm just going to use resistance with my other hand, and very simply, we're going to teach them how to align and control the scapula on top of their thorax. Head and neck are long as if they're being pulled up from the backside of their head and neck, and very simply, go through rotation, both external and internal, and we'll use a variety of directions of resistance. We'll use a variety of directions of where the shoulder is placed. But again, it's a very light resistance, and we're working full range of motion. So once we've done our release work, we're working full range of motion, slow and controlled, without changing that humeral head position on the glenoid fossa. So from behind, it looks like this, or from the side, I should say, it looks like this. So we're teaching our clients how to maintain this position and that nice open and wide shoulder position, and how to rotate the humeral head on the glenoid fossa, or rotate the ball on the socket. So again, we'll change the position of the band, we'll change the position of the shoulder and the elbow to work from different angles. Because the most important thing is the ability to align and control the shoulder complex, especially the scapula on the thorax, align the head and neck and thorax, and then teach them how to dissociate the shoulder, the humeral head, from the glenoid fossa, because that's what the function of the rotator cuff is, to stabilize the ball in the socket and then to maintain stability and control of the shoulder complex, not to just retract, not to just depress, and not to overdevelop those external rotators compared to the internal rotators. So this is Dr. Evan Osar with the Institute for Integrative Health and Fitness Education. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for joining us, allowing us to share this information with you, and hopefully it's helping you understand the shoulder complex so that you become the expert for your current clients that struggle with rotator cuff issues, shoulder issues, neck and upper thoracic issues, and attract more of those individuals that need, want, and will pay you for your expertise. If you're looking for a complete resource, check out Complete Shoulder Conditioning 2.0. We put all the great information together on the assessments, corrective exercise strategies, and how to integrate this information into the fundamental movement patterns that you're already using as part of your programs, so that way you can be the expert for your clients. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week. Actually, I'm gonna come back this weekend and share one more part 3 of this 3-part series. So make it a great day, have a great weekend, and I'll see you Sunday early morning before we actually present on the shoulder. Make it a great weekend. We'll see you then. Take care.